Hello everyone, I hope I find you well. So today we'll be learning how to format a document or an assignment. I realized a lot of you guys were having some sort of like problems. So I will walk you through it. Then after that I'll just show you some basics of referencing using the Harvard style, because we were also having challenges with that regard. So here I have our template that I sent you, the assignment template. Here it is. So here I just expected you to write your name, your surname first, and surname, your program, your registration number, as indicated here, then your course, then my name, of course, the name of the lecturer. Then here it was supposed to be assignment question, but for the text I'm going to use, it's not gonna be this question since I have to assess it. So I'll just keep it like this and we move on to our instructions. So I'd given you instructions saying font type should be Times New Roman, font size 12, paper size A4, text should be justified, line spacing 1,5, and space after paragraph. So references, at least 6 references using Harvard referencing style. Due date 4 February 2022 before 1 o'clock. So let me just grab some text from my other document. Yes, this one. So I'll just select everything. It's also an assignment that was done, I think, last year by another student. It wasn't that good, but for this demonstration, I think it will work. So this one I'll just have to omit it. Okay. So firstly, what we have to do is I wanted to remove this text, but we'll leave it here before anything, and I'll say I'll just paste everything I have copied from that document into this document. So I think keep source formatting and everything, this will work. So let me use this one so that I just paste everything as it is. Okay. Alright, so this is our assignment. So first thing, font type is supposed to be Times New Roman. So what I usually do is just highlight all the text. Including our references as well. Then here I type Times New Roman, press enter. Then our font type, we said is supposed to be 12. Then move on to 12. Okay. Then another thing we can change here, it's text justification. So I noticed that a lot of you guys didn't justify your text. When we say justify your text, we mean here text alignment. So here it's text aligning to the left, text aligning to the center, text aligning to the right, and here this is what we call justifying your text. So if I press here, you realize our text becomes justified. So we have just justified our text. And now we move on to line spacing. For line spacing, there is this button here. I think it's quite visible. Already our line spacing is at 1.5, so it did a good job. And after that, we need to add space after paragraph. That was my next command. So after this, we have added our space after paragraph, and our document is looking nice. So we can remove our instructions, add space after paragraph. I think these ones we have already followed them. So we can go ahead and just remove that information since we no longer need it. So we are left with references, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of how I assess. For example, here you see this guy wasn't putting references, and when he was referencing, he was absolutely referencing the wrong way, as indicated here. It's clearly visible. Let me try to zoom in a little bit so that our text is actually visible. So when we talk about references, I made a slide which I can use to explain to you just in short about Harvard referencing and a little bit of what I expected. So the referencing styles, there are mainly two parts, and the first one being citation in the text. Then the second one, I didn't type correctly here, referencing the reference list. So we'll first look at citation in the text. When we say citation in the text, this is what we mean. This is a citation in the text, here, right here. So I expect you to when you put out like your idea, you should cite or reference the book that you read. So you do this by writing, like here he said that mitochondria is a double membrane and the inner membrane is folded, and in between the fold is cristae, and it has a matrix in which a Krebs cycle occurs, which produces ATP. Then he put his reference. So you are supposed to write the surname of the author and the year. Then you separate by a comma, and it's supposed to be inside the full stop, like this. That's how you make you reference internally inside your assignment. So you write down the surname of the author and the year, but there are different instances. For example, you can see that some prefer not to write in this way that I've shown you. Some would like to write the name of the person who did the work, or the name of the journal they found this work. So usually they put it in this format. Let me just copy it. Copy. That's the second way of referencing, and let me place it in our sample document, for example. So if you don't want to reference like this, you can reference it in this way. This is just for demonstration purposes, and it doesn't mean Nyaganga did this work. So it's just for you to see. So this is the second type of referencing. Okay, according to Nyaganga 2022, we can even place a comma. Then we put our statement right in front. In this case, it's not really making sense, but that will be the other way of referencing. Mind how we did it. We said according to Nyaganga, then open bracket, then put in our year inside. So this is the style that we use now, and this is the style that was used. So, but if more than one of your citation has the same author and year of publication, then you can add an A. For example, Nyaganga in 2020, but he didn't write just one paper. He wrote like 2 papers, but still the same year. So you cannot just say Nyaganga 2020, Nyaganga 2020, since there are 2 separate papers. Maybe the first one in January, the second one in February. So you can put an A, 2020 A, then for the June or November paper, you can put 2020 B. And if authors have the same surname, for example, the first one is the big brother Nyaganga Ephraim, the the second one is the younger brother, Nyaganga Wallace, you are allowed to put initials in this case. That's the only time you can put initials if they have the same surname. So this is what you do. So if there are 3 authors, I told you we were referencing like this Nyaganga 2022, but sometimes there are 2 or 3 authors. So if there are 2 authors, you can just say Nyaganga and Hodzi. This will be fine. But if there are 3 authors, you need to put a comma, write the second author, then you place an and write the third author. That's how you reference 3 authors. And when you are citing more than one piece of work, for example, you got the idea from reading 2 textbooks or 3 journal articles or 2 journal articles. The first one from Nyaganga and the second one from Kaguvi. So you can write it in this way: Nyaganga 2021, then a semicolon, Kaguvi 2017. And when there are 4 or more authors involved, for example, it was Nyaganga, it was Kufa, it was Baranza, and another 4th one. So you cannot reference. In this case, let's stick to our example here. Yes, like this. Maybe Nyaganga is all Nyaganga. Smith, Heb, and Heb. Like this. You cannot just write all of them 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is whereby we shift and just replace everything with this short description et al. So we use the main author or the first author, Hayden. Then we remove all these other people and just place et al. And it should be italicized like I've shown you right here. So that's how you reference more than 4 authors on the same paper. Now let's move on to the second issue. Let's say it's a corporation. The document was written by ZBC or Merek Trust. So this is what I expect you to do. You should just write ZTV and the year, and everything is done. And let's say you read a document. And in that document written, let's say by Nyaganga, they were citing something written by Guru in 2017. But now you also want to cite that thing that was said to be written by Guru in 2017. So I expect you to reference like this. You write the original, which is Guru 2017, and the name of the article which mentioned let's say the statement that was written by Guru. So you cite Guru 2017 cited in Nyaganga 2022, since you read the document written by 2022, but it was talking about an issue that was written by Guru in 2017. So this is how you reference it. And we move on to our reference list. Like we have said in the first slide, we have a citation in text, or sometimes, and we also have a reference list here, which should be number 2 here. Let me just change it. I think it will help to just change it. Number 2, we have what we call reference list. So let me just show you a reference list or list of references. Here is our list of references. Let me just backspace everything. So this is his list of references. So we can see that, let me use bullets so that I can just separate the papers. Okay. Let me select all references and just change them all at once. Something like this. So what we want to do is to correct the way he was referencing. So for us to do that, we can see that there's a lot of work to be done. For example, he was not sticking to the same referencing style. And also, we can see there's no form of formatting. He was just placing references without actually adhering to the rules of Harvard referencing. So let's move on to that. When referencing in Harvard, it's very important to make sure that you know that you have to separate. If there are books, you cite as books. If it's a blog, you cite it the proper way as a blog. If it's a book written by 2 or 3 authors, you know what to do. If it's a book chapter in an edited book, you should know how to reference it. If it's an edited book, you should know how to reference it. If it's a conference paper, a dissertation, or a journal. So we will start with a complete book. So let's say the book is written by Mr. Nyaganga. So we write in our reference list or list of references, or you can just write references. You can write the surname. The first one is Nyaganga. Yes, that's his surname. Then the initial, note the placement of the comma and the full stop, and the title of the book. Then here you can see that it's italicized, and also the place of publishing and the responsible or corresponding institute, Forrester Books. Let's say the book is written by 2 or 3 authors. So the first one would be Nyaganga E. Then you see, you place an and, then you write the second author, Nyaganga W. Mind the placement of the comma and the full stops and the brackets. It should be as it is. Let's say there are 3 authors, Nyaganga being the first one, E, then dot comma, Nyaganga W, dot, then and Nyaganga T. And we are done with our reference. So it's quite crucial to adhere to the rules so that you don't you don't change things, you don't put in things that are not supposed to be there, and everything will be okay. So let's move on to referencing for 4 or more authors, including so when you are referencing for 3 or 4 authors, you should put in for 4 and more authors, you should put an et al. An et al just means there are more than 4 authors. So in this case, if there are 4 authors, Nyaganga E is the first author or the main author. You just write Nyaganga E dot, then et al. Italicized, then the title, then the edition. It's quite crucial to write also the edition of the book if it's produced in editions. So this one is the 3rd edition, like this. Then you write, so you can see the title, the book title, it's italicized. Then 3rd EDN, not that ED, EDN for edition. Then place of publishing, Kariba, then the name of the publisher. So that's how we reference a book. If it's a blog, we can see the surname, then the initial, the year, then the title. You can see the title, and it's in quotes. They should be opening and closing quotes like this. Opening and closing quotes. Okay, like this. Opening and closing quotes. Then after that, the name of the website or the blog. This is the title of the article you just read. Then the blog name. Then the date it was written. Then you write the website where it's available and the date you accessed it. And that's how you reference a blog. Let's say it's a book chapter. It's just a chapter in a big book. So you need to write the chapter author surname, not the book author. The chapter author surname, then the initial, then the title of the book, in editors, so the name of the editor or editors, the surname and the initial, then the title now of the book, not of the chapter, then the edition. For example, here we can see that this chapter was written by Nyaganga, and the name of the chapter was Zimbabwe's Scientific Ethics, and the editor's name was Chipako. He was the editor, ED for editor, not EDN as in edition. And the title of the book, italicized, is Zimbabwe Scientific Development in the 20th century. Let's say 20th century, we can just end here. 20th century, the international context. So here is the place of the book was published and the name of the publisher. And these are the page numbers of the chapter. Let's say the chapter starts from page 35 to 54. You have to write the chapter pages. So let's say it's an edited book by editors that you want to cite or to reference. So you need to write the name of the editor. For example, in this book, Nyaganga was the editor in 2020. And the title was Economic Development in Zimbabwe, the international context. And the place of publication was London in this case. And the publisher was Ifi Press. So that's how you would reference an edited book. So for conference papers, I think you can quite see that you also write the author of the paper, the surname and the initial. Then you write the paper title in quotes. Then you write the conference title, italicized, obviously. Then you write the place of conference. Let's say the conference was held in Mutare. You write Mutare. Then the month, June 2021. But when was it published and where? It was published in Harare by Ifi Publishing, and you write the pages that you saw, the information you used. And before we go to the last issue, we need to talk about when you are citing a dissertation, you need to write the author surname first, then initials, the year, the title of the dissertation, award and type of qualification, then awarding body. For Vickers, it was the title was an oral history of examination of how technology has impacted on library space using University of Sheffield Library as a case study. And it was a Masters of Arts dissertation, and the awarding body was University of Sheffield. So that's how you reference a dissertation. For a journal article, you need the author of the article, his surname or her surname, and then the initial, then the title of the article in quotes, then the journal title, the volume and issue number, then the page range. So for here it was Austin in 2012. Then the title of the article was Takers, Keepers, Losers, Whippers, Thefts as Customary Play in Southern Philippines. Then you write the journal title. It was Journal of Folklore Research. Then now you put a comma, then the volume number. It was volume number 49, and the issue was the third issue, number 3. Then the pages range from 263 to 284. And here you should be mindful of the commas and everything, so that we have a list that we can compile. And in this video, we are not going to edit these ones, but what I have to say, another mistake here was the list is not in alphabetic order. It's supposed to be in alphabetic order. And for further instruction on other types of referencing, not other types, other types of referencing, you should consult this book right here. Just type Harvard style referencing. It will give full instructions on information that could not fit on this presentation. And I hope it's going to be helpful, and you will find it helpful in your next lectures or lessons, assignments, or even projects. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. Thank you.